What is up, everybody? It is your favorite commentator, ManofDew, here with a game called War Thunder. This is going to be a quick tutorial, really, and what the game is about. You know, kind of how to play it, some basic tips I would give. And let's just jump right into it. The first tip I'm going to give is start out with a bomber. And while you might not like bombers, I know I'm not the biggest fan of them. It's really helpful for the team. And what I mean by that is if you can rush ahead and drop bombs on those first groups of vehicles coming in towards the airfields and stuff like that, it can really make a difference. And you might not feel like it, but it can. And another reason I like to start out a bomber is because some game modes, if you look at the bottom left-hand screen, that is it's a counter of how many hostile and friendly vehicles are left on the ground. And what you do with that is in a lot of game modes, it's basically just destroy all the enemy's vehicles before they can destroy yours. And it's a really fun game mode actually, but it's just really nice if you can kind of start off with an advantage here and just drop in the first couple bombs on these guys. Yeah, like that, and just get a nice first couple kills. It's pretty nice. Just as much damage as you can do in the first little bit. It always really helps. Alright, and these bombers, despite what a lot of people may think, can turn like none other. I'm not sure if they can actually do that in real life. I am a pilot, but I've never actually seen a bomber fly besides, you know, straight. So I couldn't tell you if that's realistic. But as far as I've experienced, this game is probably one of the most realistic flight simulator games that is, you know, not actually a flight simulator. It's a war game. And what it's just crazy is, you know, you can control the flaps, you can control the landing gear, and certain parts of your plane can be damaged, like your ailerons. If you don't know what your ailerons are, it's the things that allow you to go side for side. And your rudder can be damaged, your elevators, which is what allows you to go up and down. It's just absolutely, it's crazy. It is. It's fun too, because you know you get those moments where you know, like for instance on this plane, it was actually on this map too. I had my left engine out, and it was flaming. It died out. My elevators are shot, and I'm coming in from the west or the southwest, and I don't have enough altitude. I'm going on these things. These trees clip off both my wings. I crash into the ground and slide into the runway. And one of the more fun parts about this game is if your vehicle or plane is damaged, you can land on a runway and you can rearm and repair there. If your vehicle's more damaged, it's going to take more time, but it's still really nice. So I was actually able to have my plane repaired and start up again, and that was really cool. And that plane there is the Yak-7. It is a Russian plane that you're going to want to avoid if you're a bomber. I didn't notice that at first when I come at it. And that's a Hurricane, another anti-bomber plane, really. The Hurricane, what makes that plane deadly is it has 12 guns on it, and it tears up really well. This guy's not that great at aiming, luckily, and hopefully my gunner in the back can get him. And the problem with that Yak-7 that I mentioned earlier, that just makes it so deadly, is instead of having 12.7mm cannons, or machine guns, excuse me, like that Hurricane there, this one has 20mm cannons. And cannons, if you don't know, well, they'll rip your plane to shit really fast. And they'll tear off your wings. They'll just do about everything they can to hurt you really fast and really well. So basically avoid those if you can, because they like to come after bombers a lot. And, you know, once you're not in a bomber, they're not too big of a problem. Just, you know, try to not let them get behind you. And another pro thing about bombers is they are fast. If you know, you have afterburners in this, or wartime emergency power, which is WEP, which is what happens when you continue to press forward on the on W to accelerate. It just allows you to pick up a lot of speed, and hopefully you can outrun these guys. And that's another plane I'm just going to avoid. This is the first bomber you get for the American team. It is the A-20G Havoc. It's a pretty good bomber, actually. It takes a lot of rounds, has four machine guns in the front, excuse me, and two gunners, one on the bottom and one on the top. What I'm going to do now is, the fact that they haven't shot me down yet is actually rather astonishing. But I'm going to come in here and drop some bombs on their guys. Just, you know, like I said, weaken them down a little bit. It really does help. And this plane is just great for it. Let me roll around here. And that right there while my screen's blacking out, if you're wondering, those are G's, and I don't know if anybody knows what those are in real life, but what they are, I guess they depict it well in this too. But if you pull a turn too sharp, you're going to start feeling amount of pressure against your body, and it'll actually make you black out, and it can actually be really dangerous too for real pilots. I've never experienced more than like 6 Gs, because, you know, I'm not going up in aerial combat planes and just doing really crazy stuff, but even 6 Gs you can really feel, and I really like how they put that into the game. So, you know, you got to kind of be careful with those. If you start to black out, maybe try to just turn out of the turn and just, you know, avoid it. And here you can see I'm leaking fuel. And just for the sake of this video, actually, I don't recommend doing it often, but I'm going to, you know, suicide myself here. I don't recommend doing it because it's kind of a bitch move, with all honesty. But I'm going to do it just for the sake of the video and get on to my next point, which will be the airplanes, like not the airplanes, but the fighters. And if you can see on the top right of the screen, you can see I'm leaking fuel, and that is another issue that you might have to deal with later on. So hopefully not, but you're gonna have to eventually. And that didn't even blow it up. Good to know. Pillboxes, just so you know, are virtually indestructible. And then this is the startup screen. Again. Alright, now my next plane, this is a P-39Q5 Air Cobra. This plane is just... this plane is crazy. If you remember how I said to avoid the Yak-7 because they have 20mm cannons, well, this plane here has 4 12.7mm Browning machine guns, along with a 37mm cannon located in the hub, or the nose of the plane. And this cannon will just, it'll just rip things absolutely apart. It's pretty crazy. So, you just really gotta learn to love that. Actually, here, let me shoot it for you. It's just thud, thud. It tears planes apart. Alright, so here I am. Quick note or tip. When you're coming up on a plane, don't go like straight for them. Go for where they're going to be. And you can see that I tore off his wing and just destroyed him. A 37mm cannon again. And like I said, try to line yourself up behind them. Don't, like, if you see them riding along in the distance, don't go straight for them. Kind of anticipate their path and try to figure out where they're going to be, so you can really get on them well. Alright, that is the F-23 Buffalo. I mean, that's a pretty early plane you get for the Americans, and it's a good plane, with all honesty. It's pretty good. One thing I would say, though, is a lot of the beginning planes are pretty slow, and you can often even outrun them if you want to. But this guy, I feel like he's actually a decent shot. Often you'll find that people behind you just can't seem to aim ever, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty helpful. Oh, see, he took off my my entire tail there. And that's another thing I love about this game, is they can just rip parts of your plane absolutely apart, and it's beautiful, really. And there's another quick tip is try to avoid playing chicken with people. I do it now because I have this Air Cobra, and that 37mm cannon will just destroy anything really fast. But what often ends up happening is you get pilot sniped, and I'm sure from the term you can figure out what that is, but in case you can't, it's when you just basically one shot through the cockpit to your character, it kills you, and your plane is, you know, rendered useless and it crashes to the ground. And another thing about this game is when your plane blows up, you have to pay to repair it and have it fixed and rearmed. So it's not necessarily cheap and in your interest to lose a plane. So when I said it wasn't a good idea to just lose a bomber like I did, yeah, don't do that. It's just not a good idea. But anyway, again, here I am with my beautiful wings on my Air Cobra rushing in. Gonna hopefully take out these guys and help out my buddies. And there's another thing in this game. If you can, help out your teammates. Don't be that guy who just tries to go off and do everything alone, because everything is significantly easier with a buddy here. Alright, I got somebody in my tail. I gotta lose him. Oh, it's another Air Cobra. Fantastic. These are lethal planes. They are not the most, like, agile, but they are certainly very lethal. Don't ever... try not to fuck with them. I mean, obviously you can, but... and there's bees. Alright, there's a hit on that guy. And when another instance like this, when you're something like this, just fire as you're about to line up with them, because maybe, you know, you'll get lucky, hit them, and it's good. I got my cannon here, so I'm kind of hoping that'll tear off one of his wings or something. We're just getting kind of repetitive right now, so I'm actually going to break off. Got another Hurricane on my back and a Hayabusa, so those are both things I would wish I could have avoided. Alright, here. Let's see if I can pull out of this and maybe get on these guys. Oh, and another thing. People often forget that you can use your elevator to help you turn really quickly. And that is the control button. And what you can do is as you're coming out of a turn, click on that or push that down. And you'll pull yourself out. It really helps, especially if you're about to crash into the ground and all you're thinking is, oh, God, I'm not going to make it. It can often save your ass, so try not to forget about that. And this is my final plane in this roster of, or for this country, is the F-2A3 Buffalo. It's a really good plane. It's got 4 guns, 4 12.7mm Browning cannons, and I've got it equipped with 2 bombs on it. And they're not the most powerful bombs, but they're really good for taking out like armored cars and AA, stuff like that. So don't ever count these bombs out. Just because they're small and not 500-pound bombs like you were seeing earlier on my bomber doesn't mean they can't do nothing. And anyway, that is basically all the tips I can give you for the most part. Remember to try and lead your targets. Oh, one quick last piece of advice. That little reticle you see when you're aiming at somebody, it always aims at the fuselage, and that is the, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the entire plane for the most part. It's the middle section of the plane, or middle portion. And so you can even aim a little bit in front of that lead circle, and you can get like shots on their nose and maybe destroy their engine or disable it or make them leak some fuel. So it's really good like that. I'm leaking fuel. I'm just speak of the devil. But anyway, that has been it for me, guys. I hope you have a great day. If you liked the video, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Have a great day. This is ManofDew signing off.